It's Friday Night Writes with the Stop Writing Alone community. I'm Nicole Rivera, and I'm here every single week sharing prompts, exercises, and writing prompt parties for you to be inspired for the whole weekend through. Come on in, bring your notebook, your laptop, or whatever it is you want to write with, because as soon as we get started, you'll be inspired to start scribbling away your weekend. Thanks for coming, and enjoy your Friday Night Writes. This week's writing exercise comes from John Gillard's book, Coffee Break Writing. Check out the show description to get a link to purchase your copy today. Hey everybody, it's me, Nicole Rivera from the Stop Writing Alone podcast, and here on the MV Rivera YouTube channel sharing writing prompts and exercises for you every single Friday in our Friday Night Writes. So we're kind of like shifted off schedule by 1 week this month. Last week we did our first writing prompt tool, and today I want to share a writing exercise with you from one of my favorite books that is filled with writing exercises, and this is Coffee Break Writing by John Gillard. John has another great book on flash fiction prompts that I'm sure we'll see throughout the year, but if you just want to check out last year's 52 writing prompts, I shared exercises from this book, I shared prompts from that book, and I will put links to those previous episodes in the doobly-doo, in the show description, so you can go check them out. But what I want to do with you in the second week of each month is share a writing exercise, which is slightly different than a writing prompt. A writing prompt has the end goal of, I give you something, you go forth and write a completed story based on that inspiration. These exercises in the second week of each month will get you writing, but it may not be to a completed story. That's going to really be up to you. You can take the inspiration of the things that we do here and write a story, or you can just do this exercise and get some sort of practice in some corner of your writing as we go through the exercise. So this week's exercise is called Word Progression. And if you have this book, this is exercise number 9 in the book. The idea, by the way, of this book is that each of these exercises should be done or could be done in the time of a coffee break that you take at work. It's not something that's going to take all day. And that's why I say we're not really thinking of an end goal of a completed story. However, the work that you do today could inspire you to spend more time on it later. Within the book itself, in case you haven't seen it, there are the exercises, and then there's room to actually work on them. So you can do everything right within the book, which is kind of fun. So it becomes this little document of yours that has all of your past inspirations. But here, exercise 9, which is on page 22, is called Word Progression. And John explains it in this way. He has right here on the page the words coffee and break above some lines. And so he says, underneath the words coffee and break below, write a continuous list of words, each one associated in some way with the previous one. Do this until you reach the thick gray line. Underneath the line, write a sentence that incorporates the words coffee and break, as well as the last word from each of your lists. So just so that you have a sense, if you don't have the book, the lists underneath coffee have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. So you just need 5 words under coffee, 5 words under break. Following on from the initial sentence, continue to write until you reach the end of the page, opposite, or until you have finished your coffee break. So again, you're going to take the word coffee and you are going to write a word underneath it that is in some way associated with the word coffee. Then based on whatever word you choose there, the next line underneath will have a word that's associated with that previous word, and so on until you have 5 words beneath the word coffee. And then you're going to repeat that for the word break. You're going to have the word break, and beneath it you will write a word that has something to do with break. and the next word will have something to do with the word before, and you'll have 5 words beneath it. And then you begin your writing by writing a sentence that incorporates the word coffee and break, as well as the words beneath. As well as the last word from each of the lists, not beneath, but the last ones before you began. And you're going to continue on writing using all of the words on these 2 lists. So this is, a little bit of word play. It's in its own way a prompt, but we are creating it in the first place when we create these lists of words. And I think this is going to be a great exercise. I'm probably going to do mine right in my book here this week. And then next week we will come back, and I'm going to tell you right now because I have all of my months planned out. But next week's work for creative nonfiction is a sort of long exercise that we are going to do together. So when you come next Friday to play your YouTube video, come with pen in hand, because there's going to be a lot of work to do as we go through and get ourselves into a space for writing creative nonfiction. It's not only a great exercise to write a piece in 1 week, but it is something that can prepare us for that type of thinking throughout the year. But I'm really excited about this coffee break exercise because it's one of the ones I haven't done yet in this book. And again, as I said before, you can write for as long as a coffee break would typically be, 15-20 minutes, or end there, and then you can come back to it if you would like to write a story from what you got. Or you can say, I've done my work, I've twisted around my writerly brain in some new way, and that'll be it for your Friday night writes for this week. As for our writing prompt party for this month, it will actually be in the last Friday of the month on January 29th. I will be sending out the links shortly to anyone who has signed up to get those links. If you have not signed up yet, I will also put a link in the doobly-doo so that you can sign up for that, and make sure that you get the link so that you could be with us live as we do our writing prompt together on Friday, January 29th. The only other announcement I have is that this week I announced on the Stop Writing Alone podcast that I will be launching a Stop Reading Alone group starting at the end of January for reading through Julia Cameron's latest book, The Listening Path. I love all things The Artist's Way. If you've been listening to the podcast from the beginning, I started off the Stop Writing Alone podcast talking about Julia Cameron, The Morning Pages, The Artist's Way. And so this week she released a book that is a continuation of The Artist's Way. It is a 6-week program that you can go through reading the book and doing the exercises by yourself. But it has been my experience whenever tackling Julia's stuff that working in community is immensely helpful just to bounce your reflections and ideas off of one another. It really enhances the whole entire experience. So this is a book that I did not want to read alone. So I've decided to create a discussion, reflection, and reading and doing group around this book starting on January 28th. And what it involves is a private Facebook group for anybody that wants to join, as well as 6 live Zoom meetings for us to discuss what we went through each week. There's a bunch of very cool people already signed up, so I'm very excited. I'm already not reading alone, but in case this is something that's intriguing to you, if you've done The Artist's Way in the past and you already know of its power, if it's something that you always wanted to try, I went to a masterclass with Julia Cameron last night concerning the book. It does not seem like you have to have done The Artist's Way before. It's something that I think you can jump right into, and you will get kind of like a taste of what the power of The Artist's Way is for unblocking creativity and really just stepping into our own. So I'm very, very excited about this. So I will put a link in the doobly-doo with all the information about that, but you can also listen to episode 104 of the Stop Writing Alone podcast to hear my reflections on it. That is before I spoke to Julia, though. I also had a request to share my reflections on that masterclass with Julia Cameron. So if you head on over to the Stop Writing Alone page or group in Facebook, you can read my notes from that whole kind of, it felt like a Cliff Notes version of the book all at once in the masterclass last night. So I got a clearer view of what's coming forward in the 6 weeks. So I'm very excited. I'll also put a link in the bottom if you want to just order your copy of The Listening Path. It is out now. It came out this past Tuesday here in the United States. I will put a link for this book as well. I highly recommend the two books by John Gillard for writing. This one, like I said, is filled with exercises similar to the one that we're doing this week. And the other book that I have is a lot of flash fiction where you sit down and you have a completed story. So fantastic stuff. Really, really great resources for us as writers as we are trying to practice and get more words on the page. So I hope you enjoyed this week's exercise. I can't wait to dig into it right now. And I will see you next week for our creative nonfiction exercise, which is, I love it. And then hopefully I will see you the Friday after that, face to face, as we literally stop writing alone and start writing together in our first live stream writing prompt party. Well, have a great week. Happy writing. Thank you for coming and watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and share. And I'll see you again next week. Happy writing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with all your writer friends. And for anything else, Stop Writing Alone, check out our website at stopwritingalone.com for even more.